only about a one-off training session. And it's not just for new teachers. Sometimes we also have to look at continuous improvement across the board for our teachers. Practical and ongoing feedback and mentorship and training is so important. And this should be applied to all teachers, even the teacher assistant that hasn't ever really done any training. Even your cook can come along to certain trainings because you never know when suddenly she has to step in. Everybody should be in your radar as a center owner. And your professional development should also include a very important aspect of self-reflection and self-improvement. And this is where the teacher becomes aware of how she is doing, not just your opinion of her, but her opinion of herself too, so that she owns the process of her own development.
Lisa, I loved when you were saying it's like having a driver's license. You know, just because you've passed the driver's license does not make me a great driver just yet. And any driver at any stage can benefit from more support and feedback, right? So why don't we ask you, if you're everybody in the room, we'd love to know, how are you currently supporting your teachers' professional development? If you look at your screen right now, a question will pop up with a few options, and you can click how you are currently supporting. For example, do you visit your teachers' classes regularly to observe and give feedback? Do you arrange training at your ECD center? Do you give teachers time off to attend training? Do you support your teachers to study part-time? Or do you give feedback and suggestions when they really need it? We'd also like to know, maybe you conduct a formal annual review, or maybe you assess your teachers. Maybe you don't have a system yet. Just put that at the bottom. It's the last option. Click there if you don't have a system yet and you'd love to have some help. All right, I see a lot of people are voting. They're giving their feedback. I'll give a few more seconds for you to look at the poll. Click all the ways in which you are currently supporting your teachers, or tell us if you don't have a formal system yet and you want some help. This is very, very interesting. I'm going to share the results with you shortly. 80 people have already voted. We have 150 people on the call, so I'm just going to give a few more seconds. All right, so 100 people have voted. Let's end the poll and let me share the feedback with you. And here we go. Lisa, can you see that on your screen?
I can, yes.
Okay, so it looks like the number one way in which people are currently giving feedback, 60% of you say that you visit your teachers' classes regularly and you observe and you give feedback. That is excellent. Then 55% of you say that you give feedback and suggestions when you see people need it. Only 18% of you conduct a formal annual review, and only 21% of you are currently assessing your teachers using a structured tool. Some people arrange training at the center or allow teachers to study part-time. That's fantastic. And almost 40% of you say, I don't have a formal system yet. Please help me. Absolutely. That is what we are here to do today. Please help me. Okay, so when it comes to teacher assessment, Lisa, what does the assessment process look like? What should we be planning in our calendars?
Okay, so, when you're looking at your year ahead as the center leader, it's so important to have certain things already put in your calendar and your diary so that you know this is time for certain things and you're planning your year ahead. So the first thing is you complete a teacher assessment on every teacher. The idea is that firstly, you get to know each teacher, where they are professionally and how they engage with the learners. And And for this, you would complete the teacher assessment, which I will share with you in a little bit. And a great idea is to offer the teacher the opportunity to have her to do a self-assessment as well, because that way she already knows what you are assessing her on, so that it's not a surprise where she's saying, well, gosh, you know, you didn't tell me you were looking at this or that. She has a full copy of what it is that you're assessing. You assess her, she assesses herself, and then you put your heads together and you talk about it. The second step is to plan a feedback session with each teacher individually. This is not group feedback, as it should be private, and it can be quite sensitive to some teachers. You know, you usually have your staff meetings and you can mention fun things like, oh, I saw teacher so-and-so doing something amazing this week, or I appreciated what I saw. But that's a general feedback. This is one-on-one with a teacher where you compare notes and you say, this is how I've assessed you, and let's have a look how you've assessed yourself. And then the third step is to sit with each teacher and create their own individual professional development plan. So it's a collaborative and positive sort of goal setting time. The idea then is that not only do you have a plan for your center, the teacher has a plan for herself and her life in this profession. And she says, okay, I want to do certain courses, and you help her to plan those. And perhaps she wants to study further, then you could look at it together. And the more you invest in that teacher, the more you are her support, the less likely she's going to leave, particularly leave to another school, but also leave the sector. We're losing so many preschool teachers because they just feel lost. The fourth is to complete a second assessment at the end of the year. So now you've given the teacher an idea of what her goals are. Together, you've worked that out. You've given her feedback on every single thing along that assessment process. And then you've allowed her time to work on that. And imagine at the end of the year that you're able to give her a much better score on her assessment than she did at the beginning of the year. And that would be so motivating for her. And then the last point is to review and discuss the progress made, and then say, let's have a look. You said you wanted to study further. Have you been able to do that? What's holding you back? Let's talk about it. You know, various things, so that she knows at the end of the year, she's had a very productive year and you have seen her. Teachers need to be seen.
Absolutely. I think if I was a teacher, this process would make a lot of sense to me, and it would really make me feel as a valued member of the team. It doesn't cost the center money to do this with me. It only costs time and effort, but that time and effort is worth even more. So I think, Lisa, you're really diving into a lot of the meaty details for us here. Let's go one step further. When you say the teacher assessment, what is it that we are assessing? Is it like, just, do you like me? What do you think about me? How do you know? What do we know we should be assessing?
Okay. So what we have done is we have looked far and wide at different organizations, assessment tools. We've looked at a variety of things. And what we've come down to is a number of different categories. The first category talks to the teacher's professional expectations. In other words, how does she respond to feedback and mentoring? If you try and give her advice, does she get defensive? Does she get angry? Does she get upset? These are some of the things that you can talk about when you're giving feedback on with her. Her relationship to staff and other parents. It does make an impact on the whole running of the center when there's staff that are fighting every day and having issues with each other, or when the teacher's rude to the parents when they drop off the children because they are late or they haven't paid fees, and she's going like, excuse me, You know, those are some of the things we talk about, as well as attendance and professional conduct. Like, if I need to leave the school for an hour to go off and do something, do I feel that you're responsible, that you're professional in your conduct while I'm not there, or are you only doing it while I'm watching? These are some of the things that belong in this category. The second category is all about planning and preparation. Planning and preparation for the daily program is essential. And the simple part is that the teacher should have a planner book, and you'd be able to browse through it on your visits to her classroom and see what her planning is like. She needs to be able to plan purposeful play as well as free play. So these two additional categories in her planning and preparation can focus your attention to make sure that the pedagogy of play is evident in your classrooms. The third is the physical environment. The teacher is responsible for the health and safety in her classroom. She needs to have orderly standards maintained. Her classroom has got to be clean. It's got to have ventilation. There are a number of things that impact the child's health, as well as, very importantly, policies and procedures. She needs to be able to know those and understand them. The next category is the classroom environment. How does she manage her learners? Of course, they're under pressure sometimes. There's 25 children in a class and one person alone, and we expect so much of them. But has she come up with some great management skills that help her in that situation? What is the classroom climate like? You know that feeling when you walk into a preschool and you hear the happy little chirping and chattering and laughter? That is the classroom climate I'm looking for when I'm assessing my teacher. Is there shouting constantly? Is it be quiet, sit down? Or is it the happy little chirping of children learning? Then we look at the teacher herself, her interactions with the children, and her positive discipline if possible. And then there's also a category under individualized instruction. So in other words, does she know which children in her class are capable and have developed certain skills and which children are still struggling? Because you can't just teach at everybody. It's got to be individualized. And then the last category that we look at is the curriculum implementation. Here we have put very strict areas that we look at. Emergent literacy. What does the teacher do in order to develop emergent literacy? What has she got in place for numeracy? Does she have posters? Does she do counting while the children are lining up for the bathroom? Does she engage with mathematical concepts throughout her day? Gross motor. Does she send the children out to play? Or does she go out and engage with them while they're playing? Does she set out activities for them to do that is outside? Or does the teacher just say, no, it's cold, they don't have to go outside? Creative arts. Is there a portfolio of work? Does she show you what she has done with the children for that time? Movement and music. You very quickly hear that the children know their songs, they love their musical instruments. These are things that we would assess a teacher on. The social, emotional, and executive functioning of the children, is that something that the teacher focuses on? And then does she do learner assessments? These are the categories that will come up in the teacher assessment, which we'll look at next.
Mhm. What I really like about this, Lisa, is there are so many categories for constructive discussions around what it really takes to be a professional teacher. Gugu, you commented in the chat that in your area you are often employing unemployed youth who don't have ECD qualifications. And she says after a month, they leave, because they're not sure about this career path. They're not sure that this is even what they want to do. And if I look at this slide, you can really see that ECD is a career. It requires so much investment of time and energy and commitment. And if you can have these discussions with teachers early on and often, it helps them understand what's expected. Lisa, I don't know if you have a comment on that maybe for 𝐤𝐤.
Yeah, indeed. So this assessment is basically almost like a job description. So if a teacher is uncertain of what's expected of her, and when she enters this as a career, as a profession, does she know everything that she's expected to do? This crazy multitasking that we do all day, from wiping noses to cleaning up to putting a crying child on our lap and to teaching. There's so much in our day. But this teacher assessment gives her an absolute job description of what an excellent teacher is. And so this does certainly help with that.
Absolutely. And if I was working somewhere where someone was giving me this feedback, as opposed to maybe just being a cashier somewhere or working in a takeaway restaurant, there I'm not going to get any career development. This really feels incredible. Okay. So some of you have been taking screenshots and you're wondering now, where do I get this assessment rubric? How do I get this printed out or in my own hands so I can do this with my teachers? I'll walk you through this because the good news is that Grow ECD is here to help. So don't stress about writing down all these notes and think, I need to design a form. Don't worry, we have the form for you. So the first thing that we have is a teacher assessment guide and criteria for those self-evaluation forms. We have that ready for you. You can download these from our resource center inside the Grow Giraffe app. If you're not sure about the Grow Giraffe app, I will tell you about that now. It is a free mobile app. And to find it, you go to the resource center, go to the category called Professional Development, and there you will find 3 documents: Guide to Teacher Professional Development, the Teacher Self-Evaluation Assessment Criteria, and the Teacher Self-Evaluation Form. So the teacher can evaluate herself, you also evaluate her, and then when you sit together, you can compare your results and who said what. Okay. The second thing is the teacher assessment tool inside the app. Let me show you what that looks like. Now, this is really nifty. Looks so professional. It's a great way to record and keep all the discussions that you've had with your teacher over the months and over the years. So in your Grow ECD app, you go to the My Staff section and then Assess Staff. There you can see the button called Run a Teacher Assessment. All the criteria that Lisa had just mentioned for us and all the questions you should ask is already built into the app. So you don't need to remember anything. When you run teacher assessment, you'll get screens like this coming up for the teacher. And it will, for example, ask you under professional expectations, what is this teacher's response to feedback and mentoring? And you can select it's excellent, it's proficient, it needs some improvement, or it's not satisfactory. And you go through all 21 questions like this, all 21 questions. And when you're done, you can see here on the final screen, the teacher gets a score, an overall score, and also a score for each of the categories. And you can share the results with them so that you can then have a great discussion and see what are the areas for improvement. All right, so you can share it and you submit it, you keep it safe on the app behind a password protected. So that was tool number 2. And if that's not enough, here is tool number 3. We have online training for any ECD center owner or manager or maybe your principal who wants to learn more about teacher assessment. So when you come into your app, you go to online training. Remember that you need a little bit of data to log in, but once you're logged in, it's data free. Go to the course called Teacher Assessment Guide. And you can complete this teacher assessment guide course. I'll show you what it looks like. You complete all the sections around professional development, the criteria, the feedback, the development plans. And as you walk through the online training, you can also click to download the resources. And at the end, you will get a certificate of completion. You can see there, I already completed this course. I have my certificate of completion. Maybe Ati, I'd love to hear from you. Have you been using some of these online tools? What do you find works well for your center?
Good afternoon. Sorry for that. I was on mute. Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you so much, Helene. And yes, definitely, I have been using the online tools and also the app to assess my teachers. So I've been using the online teacher assessment tool to work with the teachers. And, it is very, very helpful because it's not difficult to use. It's very easy. And it also helps me as the principal to talk about the professional standards. And, it is focused on positive development rather than being too critical and breaking the teacher down. So I've also found that it is very important to make time for each teacher, have one-on-one meetings where we discuss her performance. And we're not scaring her on those meetings, but we are talking about her performance and where we can support each other in ensuring that, she performs very well. And then you also have to listen to the teacher and also give her feedback, or rather also listen to her feedback as well. So it's really a good process, I must say.
I can imagine you've had many interesting discussions, Ati, having employed so many teachers and different people, cooks, you've had administrators, you have principal running your other center. I see here Nomhlobo is saying that she helps her mum run an ECD center, and I'm experienced in the field and I do have a certificate level 5. Oh, that's fantastic. I tried my best to motivate the teachers. However, I think it's not enough because we are also having a problem hiring unqualified people who aren't passionate in teaching and learning about kids. Now, Ati, in your experience, maybe specifically in the Eastern Cape and the Western Cape where you've worked, what is your feedback to people who are hiring unqualified people? What are the risks and the rewards there?
So, luckily I had a conversation with a few principals in yesterday where they were telling us that, it is so difficult to find teachers who are qualified and who want to work in their ECD centers because they want better pay, but the principals cannot afford those qualified teachers. And so they end up getting those teachers who are not qualified, which is a challenge because, you want to get someone who knows what they are doing in your center. You don't just want to get the lady from the church or your cousin who is unemployed.
Yeah, it's definitely currently in the ECD sector a big challenging point between needing to employ qualified teachers, but also needing to pay them. And it's something that at Grow ECD we talk about a lot because we realize that if you also need to run your business more sustainably, so you can have better pay if you want to keep better teachers. So the quality of the education and how you run your business, these two things are connected. We have other training and webinars on that a little bit later. I'll tell you all about our ECD accelerator. If you are someone running an ECD center and you are worried about that you're not running your center sustainably, that you're not making enough money to pay teachers fairly, stay tuned. I'll tell you more about the accelerator. Okay. Now, Ati, when you have done the assessment with the teacher, right, and you're going into the next step, which Lisa showed us, the feedback session, I can imagine sometimes that can be a little bit stressful. Maybe if you want to give people feedback on areas where they're not doing well, what are the common mistakes that you've seen that we need to avoid when we give feedback?
Okay, so giving feedback, especially because you are working with different teachers who have, different personalities. And so you need to approach them in a professional way. So feedback it can be the very most powerful way to help teachers grow, but it can also feel stressful, for you as the principal doing or giving the feedback. So I know that when I started giving feedback, I was very worried about how teachers would take it. Are they going to think that I am complaining on their, way of working? Or would they get upset, or would they feel like I was criticizing them? But over time, I learned that, feedback, when it's done right, obviously, it actually makes the teachers feel supported and encouraged. And then the mistakes that, you could do when giving feedback, you can realize that you're only giving negative feedback without actually realizing, I must say. You will think that you're only giving feedback, but you only give the feedback. So no one likes to hear what they're doing wrong all the time. So now imagine if someone came to you and they just listed all of your mistakes. It wouldn't feel good. So that's why it's important to always highlight the strengths before you talk about, the areas of improvement. For example, instead of saying, your lesson was too disorganized today, you can say, I love how you made story time interactive today. So one thing that you could make it better next time is planning transition so that children move smoothly between activities. And then you will understand, or you will see how that will sound different, how the teacher will also be able to listen to you and also actively engage in also giving her views. And then mistake number two would be giving the wrong feedback, or waiting too long to give feedback to the teachers. So, you would see, or you would watch a teacher doing something and you would think, oh no, I will address it next time when it happens again. No, feedback needs to be fresh. So the longer you wait is the less impact it will have. So if I notice a teacher is struggling with an activity, I wouldn't wait. I would not wait till month end or up until we plan for the next term to mention it. I would try to give quick and constructive feedback the same day, or at least within the same week. It can be as simple as saying, I noticed that the kids were restless during story time. Maybe you could try a shorter story, or try to be more active with them when you are maybe telling, or rather tell them to retell you the story and make it fun for them next time. So immediate feedback helps teachers adjust right way instead of feeling confused about something that happened weeks ago, which sometimes they might have forgotten about it. So now you are bringing it back, and so giving them feedback later might not even be effective. And then another mistake we could make is being too vague, not being clear about what you are giving feedback on. Telling someone you need to improve on classroom management doesn't actually tell them how to improve. So you need to actually be clear and direct, instead. So be specific. Say something like, I noticed that transition between activities are taking a very long time. So maybe you could try using a song, or maybe ring a bell for the children to know when they hear the bell ringing, then they know they need to, start with the transition or rotate around the classrooms. And then another mistake could be, only pointing out problems without guiding the teacher. Now, I know as a principal, we do sometimes make that mistake of, you point out the problems, but we don't really give a solution to the problem for next time. So I always remind myself as well, feedback should not just be about what's wrong, but it should help improve and also build up the teacher. Okay. And then a last one could be maybe only giving feedback, but never asking for it. That's another mistake that we do as principals. We give feedback, but we also need to actually find out from the teachers, is there anything that you feel I am not doing well, or is there anything you want to share that did not make you comfortable from me as a center owner? So we need to give feedback and also be able to ask for it. Okay. And also maybe ask questions like, what can I do to be a better manager or a principal to you? Or what is the one thing you wish I did, differently? So also very important principles, giving feedback in public or in the classroom where children are, or together with other staff members. So this one is a really important. Feedback should always be done in private. Don't walk inside a classroom and decide, okay, now I'm going to talk to this teacher because she's free, the children are doing their work, so let me speak to her. So always make sure to give feedback in a one-on-one place or in a private place where the teacher feels safe to ask questions, and also give some thoughts onto the feedback. And also for areas of improvement, privacy is key. Please, principals. Thank you, Helene.
Absolutely. Ati, that was gold. That was all golden ideas. I would take a screenshot of this screen right now, and I would challenge myself to start implementing these tips today. You literally can start right now. You can start today. I really loved the one about being too vague. I think that happens a lot. We try to not upset people, so we just say in general, kind of vague, what we think they should do, but you have to be more specific. It's interesting in the comments, clients like you say that sometimes you give feedback, you encourage, you are highlighting strengths, but still some negativity from the teachers. I think that is normal. That is normal. None of us like to hear what we are doing wrong. But if, as the manager, you remind and explain that your job is to help their professional development, is to provide, to coach, to mentor, so you can build their career, and that this feedback is coming to help them build their CV, build their career, and build their skill. You know, that's the best that you can do. You can't always control how people will react, but you can make sure that you've done your part, which is to give good, constructive feedback that will help the person. All right, I'm checking the time, and I see we still have quite a bit that we want to cover. So much helpful information today, but I'm going to move fast through this next section. If you need to give people feedback, I'm going to give you a great tip. This is the D4 feedback model, and you can keep the D4 feedback model in your back pocket if you ever need to give someone feedback. So let me explain how it works. 4 Ds: describe, deep feeling, do, and discuss. This is going to be your new tool. Describe means sharing the facts on what has happened, so no one can argue with the facts, right? Number 2, deep feeling. This is where you explain how it made you feel. What was the story that you were telling yourself about the facts? Number 3 is do. You tell the person what you want them to do. And number 4, discuss. You open it up to allow them to give their feedback or their point of view. Okay, I'm going to show you 2 great examples. Let's do this for real, in real life. The first example is an example where I want to give someone positive feedback. So in describe, I say, when you helped me with the parent evening and you worked overtime, I felt so grateful and relieved because I know I can rely on you. So I want to say thank you, and I want to ask that you keep on helping me. That's the do. How do you feel about that? That's the discuss. Now, can you imagine giving a teacher positive feedback in this way? They would love hearing that feedback, and they would keep doing more of it. That was an easy one because we're doing positive feedback. But let me show you an example of critical feedback. Ati, have you ever had teachers coming late?
Yes, I have had.
I'm sure many people on the call have had. So let's take that as an example. How do you give quick feedback for someone who is always late? We're going to describe it, the facts, explain how we feel, tell them what to do, and then open it to discuss. Let me walk you through this example. Ati, when you are late to arrive for work, I feel so frustrated and worried because it looks like you don't take your responsibilities seriously, and you don't realize how it affects the rest of the team and the children. So I want you to tell me by the end of today what your plan is to be on time from now on. I mean, why is this happening? And how do you think we can work together to solve this? So firstly, you'll see how quickly the feedback landed, and it was using facts. Ati, what do you think? Could the system work?
You know, I really love, I don't know where it was all this time, because you want something to guide you at all times. It's really a good system that I would definitely use, you know, especially when you are giving negative feedback, because it focuses on the facts and shows you why the behavior is not good. So both people can share and make a decision together. And then, especially when the problem is shared amongst the two people. So I think the feedback system can work because it does not blame or shame, but it does show the teacher that they need to take responsibility of their actions.
Absolutely. And you can try this system tonight. Maybe your partner or your child did something good, or you want to say thank you. Use D4 to give them positive feedback. And then in this week, see where you need to give people some constructive feedback. Okay, if you remember that Lisa was showing us that circular plan for the teacher assessment, you'll remember that after the feedback session, the next step is to create a teacher professional development plan. Ati, what is this all about?
Okay, so the teacher professional development plan is very important. That this is the teacher's plan, not your plan as the principal, and that teachers own responsibility for their own careers, because remember, this is what they want and not what you wanted for them. You were not the one that went out there and said, come work for me. They had to attend interviews. So it is supported by, sorry, my throat is just a little dry. I was just looking to go and get a glass of water. So
it's all this exciting stuff that we're talking about.
Yes, sorry. So principals can use this template based on the assessment feedback. And, the teacher writes down her own strengths and her own challenges. And then now you can both develop an action plan. And then an action plan could, include examples such as attending trainings, being mentored by another teacher, having regular feedback sessions with the principal, having, again, those one-on-ones. And then also written development plan is very easy to, refer back to. File all of those documents which you filled in with the teacher and, always refer back to them. Make sure that you follow up also on those action plans. It's not things that we forget about just because they are stored away.
Absolutely. And then I see Paula asks exactly the right question, which I want to talk about next, which is, now that you've created the teacher development plan, are there refresher courses that Grow can support with? I think it's especially helpful to use our online training courses where you have teachers that can't necessarily take the whole day off and leave the classroom. It's just not a reality for many of our ECD centers if you don't have assistant teachers and backup. So our online training courses are a really good choice for that, because teachers can do it on their phone or on their tablet. It's data free, so it won't be eating up all of their data, and they can do it at any time that suits them. Though there's many courses, but the one I want to show you today is the teacher professional the teacher development program. Lisa, won't you just explain this course a little bit and how it connects?
Yeah, thanks, Helene. So the teacher development program, which is this online training that Helene is mentioning, you will notice when you look at the modules, there are 12 modules, and the 12 modules actually align completely with the teacher assessment. So in the teacher assessment, the first category that we were looking at was professional expectations. How does she dress? How does she attend? How does she arrive at work every day? How professional is she? Module 1 actually covers all the content about the topic that you would be assessing on at some stage. So not only does it explain further, but it's got videos in it, and it's got all kinds of special things that the teacher can watch and say, oh, I didn't realize that's what it meant. It's an interactive course. So the teacher would take the course on her phone, and it might be click on the right answer or drag and drop the correct statement. So she doesn't just sit like this and get bored and watch a training. She actually has to participate in it. So it's really exciting. You'll see module 2 is on planning and preparation, which brings us right back to the assessment. Does she know how to do planning and preparation? Well, this module 2 will tell her a little bit more about the importance of planning and preparation and give her ideas. We cover the topic of play because it is so important that play is the focus of early childhood development. The topic is the classroom environment, which we mentioned, literacy, numeracy, gross motor, creative arts, music and movement, social and emotional development. It also covers a little bit about how to do assessments. And there's a separate, completely separate online course that you can do all about learner assessments. And yeah, and the 12 modules basically align with the learner, with the teacher assessment. So if they are wanting to really get the best out of this process, they would then follow the teacher development program. And she can stop at any point. So if today she just wants to watch for a few minutes or do a bit of the course, she can, and then she can carry on afterwards.
Awesome. I see some questions in the chat. People are asking, where do you find this? So it's in the free Grow ECD app, which is available for Android phones specifically. I saw one or two principals asking if they can also do the course. Yes, absolutely. It would be fantastic if you do this course. We find that this course is helpful for teachers of all levels, whether they're unqualified, busy studying, or whether you've been a teacher for 20 years. This course will inspire you and refresh you and give you some new ideas. Some centers even do the modules as a team. They'll say, everybody, this week we're doing module 1. And then next week we come back to each other and we say, what did we learn? What did you see? What did you hear? And so your whole team is actually talking about professional expectations or play or whatever the topic is. That's also a great idea. All right, we're coming towards the end of our webinar. In the next section, I'm going to show you more about the tools that Grow has to support you. But just to wrap up this amazing section, I think it's clear that leadership is not only about being in charge, it's actually about taking care of those people who are in your charge. And being a leader means taking the time and energy to help other people succeed. So I hope that today's session has been very inspiring. The notes and everything is available afterwards, as well as that online training course on teacher assessment, right? So you can do that course whenever you need. Now, let's see how Grow ECD can support your journey. If you don't know about us, Grow ECD is a nonprofit organization. We're part of a bigger group of nonprofits called Taking Care of Business. And we want to create a holistic model that makes running a sustainable 5-star ECD center a possibility for all. And how we do that is we equip and we connect ECD businesses with the technology, the skills, the support, and the resources so that you can provide quality education. Now, here is our winning formula. We treat ECD center owners as social entrepreneurs because we can see that you're running a business, but you're in the business of impact and community development, right? So you need two things. You need a heart for children and you need a head for business. And that's going to help you run a more sustainable, successful ECD center. How can we help you do that? The first place to start is the free ECD management app. It's called the Giraffe app if you are a center owner. Now, there are 3 apps. Please don't download all 3 apps. If you are the center owner, you need the Grow Giraffe app. Once you register and your own center and you register your staff, your teachers can use the Meerkat app. And with the Meerkat app, your teachers can only see the learners in their class and do assessments for the learners in their class, like a more limited view and limited functionality. And your parents can download the Grow Lion app and they can see the information about their own child. But as the giraffe with the long, tall neck can see everything happening in the whole savannah, that's you as the center owner. And you can use the app to help you with your admin, with your assessments, with your learner development reports, with your finances, budgeting, and income and expense tracker. There are tools that you can access, such as the sorry, I just have to move something here, such as the online curriculum. If you don't have a proper curriculum or you need an amazing DBE approved curriculum, you can access it through the app. Downloadable reports, policies, procedures, templates, center management guides, the teacher assessment rubric. It's all available in our resource center. You can also manage communications with parents and access that valuable training, which is data free. Okay, it's South Africa's most popular ECD app. Thousands of ECD centers are already using it. So if you're not using it, download it today. We have a help desk, which can give you any support or advice on how to use the app. I'll ask Terrell to put the WhatsApp number in the chat now. So go into the chat and get the WhatsApp number for our help desk. And the help desk can give you any advice to log in or to find what you're looking for. Inside the app, you're going to find our free online curriculum. It's a digital curriculum. It's not a boring book, okay? If you're expecting just boring written words saying what you should do at 10 past 10 in the morning, this is not it. This online curriculum has videos, voice notes, photos, tips from other teachers, and advice on how to run your daily program, whether it's for babies or for your 2 to 5-year-olds. Okay, so check that out. Now, if you are in Cape Town, Durban, Midrand, or Gqeberha, I need you to listen up. We are running our next ECD Accelerator on the 9th of May. The ECD Accelerator is exclusively for ECD center owners. You need to have at least 25 learners in your ECD center, and it costs 600 Rand. It's a 6-day session. So every Friday for 6 weeks, you're going to come for in-person training from a professional trainer that is going to focus on how to be a leader in your center and in the sector, how to take control of your money matters, how to manage your money, your budget, your debt, your savings, how to run your preschool like a business. What should you even be charging as school fees? How do you know if you're making enough money? How do you make sure you're ready for December and January when there's less income? We'll also explain how to deliver a quality education program that meets the NCF requirements. And we have a session on the registration requirements from DBE. Okay, so this accelerator is an absolute must, and there are limited seats available. If you're interested, you can go to our website, growecd.org.za, and click on the accelerator and apply to join us. So many people apply, we review all the applications, and then we see who can join us for the next accelerator. And finally, I need you to take a screenshot of this slide or write it down. If you need further help, this is the number and the email address for the Grow ECD app help desk. Wendy works at the help desk. She's available during office hours, and you can WhatsApp her or email her, and she will let you know. The other great place to find information is our website, our Facebook page, Instagram, our YouTube, and our LinkedIn. So follow us on Facebook and Instagram, check out our website, or reach out to us via email or on WhatsApp. All right, let me see what other questions we might still have. Chantal says, oh, I have downloaded the app, but I can't seem to log in. Okay, Chantal, maybe you forgot your password. There's a button that says forgot password. You click that, it'll help you reset your password. If that's not your issue, then please WhatsApp the help desk and they will help you to get in. Let me see. Lorata is asking about the Free State. Sorry, Lorata, the accelerator is not in the Free State yet, but all of the other tools I spoke about today, the app, the online training, the resource center, the free curriculum, all of that is available across the country. Okay. Paula is saying, any videos or courses on managing the app? Yes, Paula, that's a great question. We do have videos and explainer videos that will help you to use the app. The help desk sends those out, or if you go to our YouTube channel, we have some videos there. Okay. Thelma is saying, consider the Eastern Cape, please. Thelma, we're currently in Gqeberha, so that's where you can find us if you're looking for us. Okay. And then lots of questions for Northern Cape. Northern Cape, we're not there yet, but remember, all the other tools and services are in your region. The app is the best place to start, to be honest with you. As we wrap up, maybe Atsi and Lisa, you want to share some final thoughts? I'm going to stop sharing so we can see your lovely faces. Lisa?
Thanks, Celine. I think the one thing that I've always consider when working in this incredible sector is it is the most underpaid sector. Teachers do not earn what they are worth. They don't, many of them even earn minimum wage. So why would they stay? They stay because of the family that you create as the center owner. They will stay if it's a happy place to work, if they feel supported and they feel respected and they feel like they belong. They will stay. And they won't, as so many center owners say, chase the money to the next center. If you provide them with training, support, feedback, etc., they will stay with you and be loyal to you. So create the environment that a teacher would want to work in. And the rest, the money will come. Government is aware of you guys. They know you're out there now. So be patient, it will come. I truly believe it.
Wise words, Lisa. And Atsi, from you?
You know, it always makes me so sad to know that we are the one profession that is not really recognized. And so we do so much for the communities that we are in, but the recognition is just not enough. And, you know, just to share with the principals, especially when coming to your fees, which you charge in your centers, I loved one parent that was looking for a school in one of the social media pages. She was looking for a school and she stipulated the amount of fees that she wants to pay for that school. And, you know, she kept on getting recommendations and she got a recommendation for a lower amount, which she wants to pay. And she said, no, I wouldn't take my child to that school because teachers are either not being paid well there. And by that, it means that they are not going to be dedicated to their job. So, you know, teachers that are recognized, teachers that are well paid are going to feel motivated, are going to be motivated, wake up in the morning to go and do what they love. Because, you know, they are there at your centers because they love what they do. And so to be motivated, a little more pay would be something that would, you know, keep them going. So principals, let us think of increasing our fees just a little so that we can give good pays to our teachers.
Absolutely. And as a parent, and when speaking to parents and other parents, we need to remind ourselves that we get what we pay for. And surely our children are worth an investment. I wouldn't go to have my hair done at a place that says it's 50 Rand. I would not trust that place. Now, why would I send my precious child somewhere where it's very, very low fees? Maybe that's our biggest challenge, is changing parents' mindsets about the investment in their own children. So thank you so much for everybody who has joined us. Thank you to Lisa and Atsi for making time in their diaries. Thank you for sharing the wealth of information. We as Grow wish that every ECD center and teacher is blessed and that the rest of this year only is fruitful and positive. And may your teachers grow and inspire you and surprise you with how well they respond to your development and your feedback and your mentoring. Thank you, everyone.
Right. Bye-bye, everybody.
Okay. Thanks, Celine.
Bye.
Bye.